know what, Bonuses? I never take such long journey on horse carriage again. I'm gonna venture a dangerous sea travel instead. That's even better than this poor quality, bumpy road condition with constant threat of bandits. This is my conclusion.
It's been a long time since these roads worked well. The vast majority of road network are totally abandoned all around the empire for long decades. But it will get better when we approach Rome.
Hello, it's a beautiful day. You can go.
No matter which room you choose, this is yours.
Thanks, Bon.
Where's the thermal?
Public thermals are in every corner.
There is one!
Artemis, a daughter of god Zeus, Greek goddess, the protector of wild animals, goddess of fertility. She is a passionate hunter, though. This is why she protects the animals. Her sculpture could be here because she is a protector of thermals as well. But it's weird to me. I mean, if we are in the Roman Empire, where supposedly we Latinas rule, why has not Diana's sculpture been taken here instead of Artemis? Why is her Greek alter ego here?
Relax, Bonosis. Relax.
You are new here. In a pool next to you, boy loves boy, and in another one, girl loves girl. You were lucky to get here.
Yeah, I'm
I've
so
never
lucky.
met such a giant tool before.
Hello, pretty boy. Don't try to resist.
I swear on Osiris, you were virgin. You haven't sex with woman before, right?
This is the insanity itself.
Hey!
Imagine mine was Virgo, but he ejaculated 4 times.
Mine too, but he hardly could once.
We were stupid to not to dance in veil to them, since they saw a little from our bodies.
Do you want more, honey? I never had such like this.
Are you kidding?
And what about me? What I get for that 2 female wolves rocked up to ceiling by pleasure? How much it worth?
Any problem?
Nope.
Why didn't you pay him what he wanted?
Because I didn't have that much money. Otherwise, we'd be hungry. We need to eat something after this. You know what? I'll invite you to a fried sausage at that butcher's. This Rome started well. Dude, what's the wrong with you? Why are you so upset? As if you ate dog poop instead steak. That sausage was delicious, but undoubtedly true we didn't drink Cuse wine. Just some poor quality liquor.
Come on, pretty boy. Don't try to resist.
Who are you? And what do you want from me?
I am your sexual desire. From now, you are mine.
No way.
Yeah.
Wake up! Hey!
What's up?
Morning, and I don't want to be late at the first day of Scola. My dad told me that Donatus is even stricter than Orbilius was. My father also told he punishes his students by an ugly Negro servant. This is because he doesn't want to mess his own hands by spanking us on by own, since that would be gross, ain't it?
All right. Here you are. I'm at your service, Sir Donatus.
Fine, let's go.
And nothing any breakfast? Neither a bite? If you send home your first columna internuncia to your father, just write down, notify my mom her son has starved to death before he could even start his high-minded study at Donatus's Scola.
Do not whine all the time. What would you do in a desert somewhere in Egypt, living as a monk or hermit, where you can't find even a vapid water, not to mention food?
Near everything is possible, except wasting my day among dirty, smelly, idler, sly monks. Castorina, my auntie, was living among them for years, and I have to say, she told a terrible stuffs about stray monks. They fear using water, both external and internal purposes. Only vagabonds, homeless bums want to live so-called holy life. They begged from richer Christians, but rather they used to steal from them according to Castorina. Shame, really. I feel a magic fragrance of steak. Come on, Bonuses, we should eat something somewhere before school day.
That's absolutely out of question. We must not be later right at the very first day.
Yeah, but...
No.
Excuse me, is this Donatus's Scola?
Yep.
Who are you, by the way?
My name is Innocentius.
So you,
Yes, I study here.
Name?
Sophronius Eusebius Hyeronymus
Tuition fee?
has been already paid.
I see. Next.
Are there any Christians among you? You don't need to respond. In our school, the freedom of religion rules in spirit of Constantine the Great, and Emperor Julian was unable to ban Christians to teach grammar. In our school, we actually don't make a difference between discipulus and discipulus based on religion, because you have to realize I am not only the master of this institute, but its owner as well, and all of the colonnades, arcade system, and walls around you belong to my empire, independently any kind of authorities. That means you are not responsible within the borders of my empire. If you are here in this intellectual arena, you are not obligated to respond, only to me. And I will ask you to respond only about your knowledge, nothing else, which you'll certainly learn between these walls. I'll teach you Latin language, literature, poetics, grammar, based upon literacy and correct language use. I'm going to say even now, your study will be an important element of your personal development. You are going to copy the works of such masters like Virgil, Tacitus, Cicero. Once you eventually finish this school, you will have a decent own library. Any question? No? Without any further ado, let's get started. So you can find a bibliotheca albia, actually a bookcraft here, but note, that provides books for reading and copying on place only. You are not allowed to bring them outside. I suggest to get started with copying Aeneas now, since that epics is base of our study. After finishing, continue with translating Andronicus's Odyssea. That's even true, this work is not only masterpiece, because the Latin isn't an original tongue of this poem. This ways Tarentumian Achae, man came to Rome as a Pau, where then his lord Livius Salinator liberated him, enriching the Latin spirit by so many translations of literature in this way. This important element is a crucial part of our studio, is the correction of this Spartan ancestor, styled by rules of Latin language. I'm going to ask, by the way, has any of you read Aeneas? Your name?
Sophronius Eusebius Hyeronymus.
Do you speak Greek? The sound of your name refers to Greek ancestry.
No, sir. But I know not only this fetching epic poem of Magister Virgil, but I can even quote from it. I already have the entire Aeneas as my own copy. So I can start translating the Odyssey into Latin even now. That's more interesting task for me, because I know motif connections between these two epics.
Say only one, Eusebius.
Bugler Maecenas' death on nowadays called Misenum Peak of Seacliff.
Reason for it?
Triton threw him down from Peak near Cumea.
Why?
Because he became jealous, since Maecenas was blowing the shell horn more beautifully than the divine deriving being.
That's right, but also not what you say, Eusebius. More precisely, every phenomena is more complicated than looks like. First of all, Virgil really writes that, I quote, because Triton became jealous. If this true and credible, he threw him down from the peak to the sea unexpectedly. But here is the more important lesson for all of us. What about the Iliad and Odyssey? The War of Troy. Even the reason of outbreak is morally condemned, and even worse, according to basic moral rules of the new religion, so many people had to die due to lust for possession and love, which is a deadly sin. Maecenas, as his Greek counterpart, wasn't only excellent warrior and the best bugler, but originally was the comrade of Trojan Hector, and as well his enthusiastic devotee. But once Hector got defeated by Achilles, his corpse also got reviled. And this is the key issue. I let you know how. Maecenas left his comrade, who moved to underworld, and went over to Aeneas, the member of enemy army. So he committed a treason. The new religion recognizes the sin forgiveness because Jesus Christ sacrificed himself for this. But the old pagan Greek and Latin belief system, where I'm still living in, do not classify a lot of stuffs as sin, what necessary should be forgiven, but condemned any sort of betrayal. And Maecenas made even that mistake, that he drove attention of evil deities from the crag that looks to Sinus Cumanus. Hence he has been chastised by using Triton's jealousy, as he chastised Achilles too, because he reviled Hector's corpse and humiliated his dead heroic father, provoking the gods with this act. Therefore, he needed to die too.
Interesting approach.
Any question? Good. At the next lesson, we'll examine the comparison of Latin translation of Odyssey and the Aeneas. In order to get it done, bring the copy of the first 3 chapters of both. I would draw your attention towards Sosius's bookstore, which you can find near the Janus sculpture, which is no longer alive because founded 200 years ago at the time of Martilian. But the bookstore itself operates even now, since I hereby declare Rome is eternal, and her miraculous institutes have a long history. If your parents supply you with a huge amount of sestertius, you can even buy a very old, 200 years old, Virgil replicas, because not only the bookstore, but book copying workshop works for 100 years. Roman citizens preserve their values. Any student among you from Hispania? You?
Heliodorus.
Heliodorus. Heliodorus, Greek-sounding name. The Helios means sun, but if you learn, you'll know this anyway. By the way, you neither speak Greek?
No, sir.
I would ask you, however, do you know the greatest Latin satirist who was living the time of Sosis? He came from Hispania too, and he returned back several years before he died in Rome.
Excuse me, sir, but I don't want to stay and lie. Undoubtedly, that's my fault that I know nothing about Martelize, but I'm not from Hispania, rather Altinum, but this city cannot be confused with the Pannonian Altinum. My hometown is located near the Bay of Venetia, and Rufinus, the guy next to me, came from nearly Aquileia. In that city, we studied together in same school and in same class before we arrived in Rome.
According to the new religion, our world is a scene of constant struggle between good and evil. But unlike the Manichaeism, we don't act as a place of both. Rather, we have a free will to choose between good and evil.
Hey, lads.
But nowadays,
what
we have to
about
fear the
a
possibility
steak
that Rome will be
after
defeated by the
grammar lesson?
evil, and her virtue conquered the world
Rufinus?
will vanish
Oh,
forever.
come on. Don't
Our
be
gods destroy
pussy.
our eternal Rome
Hey,
like the Jewish
it's not
Jehovah
over
did
yet.
with
Be
Sodom and
quiet,
Gomorrah.
please.
I don't know about you, but my belly dial indicates the time I go to gobble.
Wherever we go matters. I know behind the forum a self-service cenatio, and not too far from it we can find a public latrine.
Right. We're with you. But I would suggest after the meal to take a direction to Balneum, namely Caracalla Thermals. That place is simply awesome. The chicks are damn hot there. You can catch as many girls as you want.
No thermals, and no girls. Our parents didn't send us here to fornicate by a huge sum of money. After the meal, we'll start asking about the location of bookshop, about the cost of Virgil replicas, and Cicero, Terentius, Martialus, you name it. They seem Donatus' favorites. And right after, we go to library, where we start copying immediately until sunset. Let's go.
You know what's the difference between beauty and ugly?
I know. Our taste.
Almost
You
Heliodorus,
little
but
shit.
no. The ugly is clever because it looks beauty, but do not fool yourself, it isn't. This is Rome, my friends, the beauty and ugly in same person.
Hello again, Hieronymus.
I show the position.
7.
Sorry, Bon.
Tomorrow, we gotta write a test. You sucked brain. God damn it.
Hey.
Maybe tomorrow.
Hieronymus!
I know. You know, Pamachius, the female wolves can be easily differentiated from the rich and elitist ladies because they wear fake jewelries. But you can bang them similarly, and they will get ugly by age at the same way. I swear they aren't a bigger lupus than women from Palatinus or Viminalis.
Did you know Hieronymus, a couple of decades before you came to Rome, a terrible epidemic raged here. Therefore the Senate decided that every stranger must be banned to enter Rome, because the strangers were suspected of carrying the infectious disease. Tourists, traders, pilgrims, students, casual workers, newly bought slaves, even local students found suddenly themselves outside the walls. All gates were severely guarded, including the Porta Ostiensis, Porta Appia, Porta Nomentana, and Porta Femina. But riots were taking place among the citizens when the sex workers got banned out of the city too. Under this pressure, the authorities eventually granted residential permit for 3,000 outlanders, despite they spreaded the pandemic undoubtedly. This fact was well known everywhere.
See, I told you 100 times. Once the purity of mind gets defeated by ignoble, lush longing of body, the dramatic downfall is inevitable.
Oh, come on, Benosis. How many street girls, African and Asian dirty lupus, made a love with us for years, and we're still here with no health issue.
True, but others' penises are being rotten down. They went blind, and they shared the fate of lepers. They were chased away from settlements, and that one can count themselves lucky enough who didn't starve to death.
Oh, Bonosis. Yeah, I know about these horror stories either. And so what? Have you ever met this case so far? You don't need to call like a crow.
I know a long time ago about you, Heliodorus. You are even bigger lupa hunter than Hieronymus.
True, what is true, I had so many catches.
Hey lads, this is definitely not a forum. Do you really want to spend your whole day here? If you finish, go away.
Sorry, lady with goose feet, but it's a deep philosophical debate among men. Takes a while.
Get out!
Hey lads, we are not far from the place where Romulus, the legendary founder of Rome, threw his warlord down for wanting to give over the fortress to the Sabine Muses. Therefore his name means traitor.
Oh no, you don't remember well, Rufinus. The warlord did not commit a betrayal on him, but rather his daughter did.
No, that's not true. Spurius Tarpinius' daughter really was a traitor, but after all, the Sabinian king Titus Tacitus killed her, because the world was virtuous at the time, and the traitor was condemned by enemy either, despite she helped them.
No. The betrayal of Warlord was refuted, and he hasn't been thrown down from the crag. Rather, his daughter got thrown. Therefore, the Sabinian king hadn't even a chance to kill that girl, since she was already dead.
Lads, this is a pointless debate. Let's talk about girls instead.
Did someone talk about girls? We are very lucky to have met, my friends. If your time permits, I invite you all to my home for a strange game, which is also a race. But don't be scared, this is not a race like the ones you see in the Colosseum or the Circus Maximus, nor is it like the Greek Olympics, but similar in some way. I am giving all of you a unique chance, perhaps even you. My modest shelter is very close.
What the heck is going on, Pamachius?
I have no idea, just wait. I know this man. His name is Titus.
The girls from Syria, Gaul, Egypt, Armenia, Asia Minor, Dalmatia, Mesopotamia, Hispania, and Britannia.
Wow! Guys, don't lose control.
So the essence of this game is clear, but the race ain't yet self-evident, right? All about the individuality, that boy wins among you, who is able to endure the most budding, without ejaculation. The reward of the winner. So the winner will sleep with the most beautiful mistress of Rome. These gladiators show you what you have to do. Don't forget one girl, one budding, after move to the next regardless how you like or dislike her. Anyone who gets stuck on one of them is immediately eliminated. Let's get the party started.
You feces of diarrheal desert camel. Let's move, guys.
Come, Rufinus. Deep breath.
This Titus is the member of one of the oldest Roman families, as he claims his ancestors were living at the time of Romulus. That aristocrat woman, who was offered as reward of winter, is the first niece of my mother. Married woman and a mother of 2 children, by the way. She is respected as the woman who lives a holy life.
This shame of human procreation, this bastard Titus, He humiliated not only women, but men as well. And we would become worms if we went playing into this disgusting game. Therefore, I abhor myself, because almost, and you, like an ass of castrated pig, were looking this. And if I haven't dragged you out of this, you now would be banging those slave women like piglets on the greatest pleasure, this perverted Titus. And she could classify you as facies of cloaca with every right. I'm simply disgusted because you just forgot what you learned from Donatus for so many years. The beauty, purity, and higher taste. I have no problem with natural love between man and woman. Rather, I have problem with humiliation of physical love. And you were sinking into a darkest depth. But thank Jupiter only for a moment. You left me speechless.
Don't act as a statue of virtue or Vestal Virgin, Hieronymus. Even you are unable to control your lousy dick. You almost every day have a fun in Lupaners, and you dare to accuse us, you hypocrite.
Rufinus, you don't understand what Hieronymus says. What do you think? I did not notice that you and Heliodorus would throw your smelly bodies into that loathsome game.
And you wouldn't, eh? But you don't dare to confront Hieronymus, his words are law to you, and you don't allow for yourself what he doesn't like.
No one forces you to hang with us. Just slide back like a horny rat and weep yourself back to a hideously dirty vagina. Everyone does whatever they want in our company. We are obviously neither guard of virtue nor hypocrite, but we don't want to participate in a rot of Rome. If a descendant of ancient patrician family, whose ancestors were warring with Romulus for the independent Rome, sank so deep, like your Titus Pammachius, this is the tantalizing insanity itself. What is going to happen to us and to this charming city? And if you want to know, I'm losing control, indeed, if I see a sloppy vagina on two legs. And I really could hardly resist this never-returning opportunity. But I would never throw my human dignity to trash. And I would never humiliate these poor slave girls. If I'm not capable to prevent anyway, I'm not engaging in at least. And I never humiliate them into the level of animals. Keep in mind this, Rufinus.
Why not? If you laying a similarly poor and vulnerable slave girl on that hideous bed in the Lupaner is pretty much the same, isn't it?
If you really want to know, Rufinus, I'm really ashamed that I cannot control my passion. And I always pledge never ever again. But that price is too high to be free from it. What Origen paid, namely self-castration, and not because Christianity bans this, since I'm not even baptized, but because who sins against nature, sins against the gods or the god.
Oh yeah, if you consider Origen as something great, you have to agree with that claim even the Satan is eligible to be redeemed.
Oh no, we just escaped Titus's disgusting lush chamber, and we're already on a verge of debate about the martyrs of last century, like Origen, his faults and virtues. Rufinus, why do you need to provoke Sophronius all the time? As you wouldn't know, he does not tolerate any disagreement. If you want to be his friend, you definitely have to endure his temper. To me, at least, is even more important his friendship than trying to win a debate against him at all cost. And it's more and more important to me than your half-truths, Rufinus.
Yes, if you want to know, Origen was right, and who denies this fact does not understand the Christian doctrine. Because Jesus, the Christian God, died in body for the sins of all beings. The essence of this doctrine, the everlasting love and forgiveness. And that bastard vapid-brained priest, Demetrios, the oppressor of the Alexandrian church, did not give a shit about understanding the essence of his own religion, the love and forgiveness. Hence, Origen was deprived of his rank and persecuted. Moreover, excommunicated him from the church, and Origen shared a destiny of his father. He has died as martyr because Demetrios' dogs tortured him to death. And finally, I'm not a Christian, but I pay a tribute with admiration towards my family loyalty to Christ.
You hadn't luck with names beginning D letter.
Don't make a fun of death, even if you can't make sure he joined the Legion of God's Angel by his martyrdom.
Woohoo, Bonosis, don't make a fuss. You haven't sense of humor as you haven't been capable to develop it in that remote, God-forsaken province where you've fallen here from. Of course, you scared of barbarians who importune your homeland. And instead of you, and instead of staying home and protecting your country and family, you came here.
Dude, what's the wrong with you? Why do you take it personal? Bonosus didn't hurt you, just told the facts.
Note and learn it, Heliodorus. Even Terentius wrote in his epigram, "Flattery makes friends, sincerity makes enemies for you." This wisdom is true even today. But more important than this, what the hell should we do with our free time? Since we have a plenty of time in this afternoon.
Do you know what I can't understand anyway, Hieronymus? If I read your school dissertations you wrote to Donatus, I have to say you are among the greatest contemporary masters of Latin writers. I can compare you only to Cicero and Virgil. And how did you learn to formulate like this? From Donatus, whose words fall so dry like a sawdust or sand of desert? Pamachius, Rufinus, do you understand this phenomenon? I don't say you are unable to formulate in logical way, especially you Rufinus. Every single word of your essays proves your literacy and prudence, but where are you from Hieronymus' writing talent? Sophronius Eusebius, you remind me of greatest style artists of early emperors. What is your opinion, Rufinus?
I don't come into style debate. I dragged all of you into this immeasurably stupid situation. That's my fault. I introduced Titus to you, hence I recommend his balm on your psychic while I'm taking the visit around the old Christian catacombs.
Your psychological bomb is my ass, but Eusebius pissed me off with blowing us out of that magnificent revelry.
Did you say something, Heliodorus?
No!
And how can we get to the catacombs?
We have to pass the Palatinus and leave the city at that point, heading towards the Via Appia to the catacombs. Sadly, the vast majority were walled up, including the Jewish catacombs, but we can find open ones, since the clever Romans preserve them at least for business purposes and they sell torches and candles there. Without them, no one can venture a trek into.